Hi everybody and welcome to Friday Live. My name is Melissa and I'm here from Youth Work Ireland Cavan Monaghan and I'm in the Youth Information Project. And I'd like to welcome Janice Niblock with us here today. And Janice is a colleague of mine, I'd have to say at this point. We've known each other for quite a few years.
A lot of years.
Janice works for the Child and Family Support Network. And Janice, I wanted to get you on today because I wanted to talk about supports that are available to children, young people and families in the local area, and some services that you know about that are national as well. So you're very welcome and thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Melissa. I'm putting a disclaimer in there. This is not really my thing, so bear with me.
That's okay, that's okay. And it's just a chat, so we'll have a wee chat and kind of talk through a few things. So I suppose, Janice, just talking about, like, it's been a crazy few months for everybody, absolutely everybody. And it's been a struggle. I'm a mother myself, and it's been a struggle maybe trying to work from home, having children at home all the time, which we're not used to. And maybe some people have been struggling with unemployment as well, and a lot of unknowns. So has that been your experience of what families are struggling with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things for parents that we've seen, and we've done a survey through the Children and Young People Services Committee and Parenting Monaghan, which is initiatives that are run out of Monaghan. And one of the biggest things that parents felt they struggled with was the homeschooling. And I think for any parent that has had to do that and possibly work from home as well, or deal with the financial elements of not being having employment or job, that's put huge pressure on families, and absolutely understandably so. Another thing that we felt with families, maybe with children that have had additional needs and just coming out of that routine and that structure, and that's been a huge challenge to be able to adapt to something that just was totally unexpected and unforeseen. So it has been a struggle for families over the past couple of months. And as you say, Melissa, you're a mother yourself, as am I, and it has been a challenge for a lot of people.
And even like you're saying, with maybe young people who have additional needs, it may be a disability or maybe something to do with mental health and stuff like that. So all of these things are amplified because the routine is gone, and maybe the needs that were being met at school sometimes can't be met at home because there's an intensity to the work that needs to be done. So that's been kind of left and kind of put additional pressure on parents.
Yeah. And I know a lot of parents would have rang me, at the time, maybe parents that were in that position, and just they needed someone to talk to, they needed someone to vent to, and just chat about what they were going through. And things such as Parent Line, that I have been a really good support to parents as well, just to be ring up someone they don't know, confidentiality, completely confidential, to be ring up and just say, look, I'm really struggling here, and just have a talk through. So services and supports like that have been really beneficial. I don't think we've ever needed online materials or phone lines as much as we have done over the past couple of months. Websites such as parentplus.ie for different tips and advice are really helpful. We have our own Parenting Monaghan Facebook page with different things up on that as well. So there are resources and supports out there for parents who maybe are struggling and need to chat through things.
And like, even as you're saying, at the moment now we're kind of, we're going back out into the world, but it's been lonely. It's been a lonely place because you don't know, can you meet up with your friend or not? Your friend's busy too, minding all their kids and whatever. So to have something like Parent Line there to utilize and to have, and something obviously that's still there that you could use.
Yeah.
And Parenting Plus is they offer lots of different courses to parents. And it goes through different years. So it's 0 to 6, isn't it? And then it goes 7 to 12 or something. And then it goes into adolescence. And then there's a separated parents one as well. And these are all free courses that Parenting Plus offer. And I've done them myself as well. And they're really, really good. So that's, I suppose that might be happening at the moment, but it could be happening again in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's something we definitely need to look at for the autumn time. They generally don't run during the summer months, just with different summer camps and parents being busy at home with the children, and the routine is kind of different. But in the autumn time, definitely, if you like the Parenting Monaghan Facebook page, you'll be able to see what is going to be coming up. Obviously, we have to take into account the government guidelines and all of that. So we will be meeting in a couple of weeks to look at how are we going to deliver courses through County Monaghan for all those different programs that you've spoken of there, Melissa. So,
and the Facebook page is the best place to get information. So it's Parenting Monaghan Facebook page.
Yeah, and even send a private message to Ellen. She's the coordinator on that, and she'll be able to just give you, sort of guidance, or let you know if you have your name down for any of those courses, or if you wish to put your name down, so that whenever it does come up, she'll be able to let you know. So it may have an online format or face to face. We just don't fully know, but we are hoping to run some courses over the autumn.
Yeah, which would be great. And I wanted to move on, Janice, and talk to you about something that I've worked with you on before, which is called a MEHL. So this would be where, just say a young person who's maybe struggling with some aspect of their life. There was just something, might be school, it might be that they're very isolated and they need help with socialization. There's loads of, it could be anything that the young person is struggling with. And it's the idea of everybody, well, a lot of people that are in their life, key people that are in their life, kind of coming together and trying to work out a plan with the young person to try and help them with whatever the issue is for them. So did I describe it right?
Yeah. I think the way I like to describe a MEHL, it's a team around the family. And I think over COVID, we have seen a lot of MEHL type supports going on in communities where people are dropping food off to people's houses if they needed it, or, communities were really coming together. And that's where MEHL actually derives from, is communities actually supporting each other. So as part of a TUSA initiative, MEHL is a practice model, and it really, I suppose the primary voice in a MEHL is the parent and the young person. So as you say, Melissa, maybe there's a couple of people involved, maybe a school, maybe the young person is engaging with the youth service, and you feel like people just need to come together to look at what can we do to best support our child or our family. And I suppose that's what MEHL meetings are for, to really look at what are the needs of your family, and then is there other services that you need? Can we link in with any other different types, maybe family support, types of counselling, individual support? So we look at the young person holistically as to what are your needs, to help the young person meet their needs as best as possible, and to support the family if we can in whatever way. So a MEHL, that's essentially what a MEHL is. And a MEHL is usually convened by a lead practitioner, so maybe someone working in the community, so maybe someone in the school, or yourself, Melissa, or different people that are a part of our child and family support networks, which I know we're going to talk about later on. So a MEHL is a type support for your family in terms of looking at what are the needs for your young person, how can we meet those, and who's involved already to help meet those needs.
And it's about as well that we're not all working in isolation, that I could be meeting a young person in the youth centre, and then school are trying to do something with them, and the parent is, and then realising, God, if we all came together and had the same goal and tried to work with each other, in partnership with each other, it might work out better.
Yeah, and I think parents sometimes feel like they have to tell their story so many times that they feel like, okay, I need to tell Melissa about this, and I'm worried about this for my child. Or the young person maybe feels they have to say, oh, I have to talk to Melissa, and then someone at school's asking me. So that everyone coming together to have that knowledge of what is going on for that young person or that family. So it's shared, but it's confidential as well within that team, and all the GDPR protocols and all that are adhered to. So it's a great support, and I think families have found it really beneficial in terms of not having to be telling their story several times, and also to gain extra supports for their family or their young person that they may be concerned about or that they may need a little help with.
Yeah. And like another thing that I find great in it is giving the young person a voice, and you know, they're a key part of the group, and asking them what they want or what they think will work, rather than being dictated to of, you know, this is what you have to do.
Yeah,
so that's a great part of it.
Yeah, it's young person led, it's parent led as well. And I think sometimes parents and young people can feel, oh, they're telling me what to do. But MEHL is really about them being the centre. And what I love in a MEHL meeting is for the parent to talk the most out of any professional or any youth worker, and the young person to really have their voice. And over lockdown, I suppose, we had to change the way we done MEHLs, because normally they were face-to-face in a room, but we managed to do them via Teams, via Skype, via teleconference. And I have to admit, parents and young people engaged. We were overwhelmed with how well they engaged. So it just shows that they really value the process. The parents that have become involved, initially maybe nervous about it. Any of us are nervous about any new support or initiative, but they really engaged really well.
That's great, and that's great to hear, you know, that they could do that. So I was wondering then, could we talk about, you know, if you have a concern or you're worried about, you maybe feel somebody's at risk, it could be a family member, it could be somebody in the community, what supports or where should somebody go if they have a concern about someone or a family, and they're just looking for support?
Yeah. So I suppose there's a couple of things there, and I think we'll talk about some of the more specific youth supports and all that down the line, Melissa. But if, for example, you're really concerned for a family member in terms of child protection, in terms of that kind of arena, there is a dedicated phone line for Cavan Monaghan where you can speak to a duty social worker. You don't have to give your name. You know, you can just ring for a consultation as such. I'll send you on the leaflet where people can access that number and just read a little bit of information. Obviously, if you feel a child is in absolute immediate danger, to contact the Gardaí, and especially out of hours, you know, because then they need someone right then to be able to come out and just explore the situation a little bit further. But there is a dedicated helpline in terms of social work and child protection.
And even when we're talking about that, you know, we're gone from the days of feeling like, you know, you're telling tales.
Yeah.
You know, it's really about getting support for families.
Absolutely.
And that sometimes it can only be maybe something small that needs help with. And it doesn't have to be a big, you know, deal about it. It can be something that there is lots of supports out there. So why don't we use them and access them?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's where Prevention, Partnership and Family Support, which is under the umbrella of TUSLA, is really all about looking at how can we support your family, what can we do to help your family, because let's face it, each of our families, somewhere along the line, we all need a little bit of support. And maybe you feel your family needs that little bit of help or support, to reach out and look for that help. The earlier you get that help and support for maybe your own family or a family you know of, the better the outcomes then for the child and the young person and the whole family unit. So really it is so important to reach out and to look for that support. And it is available.
Yeah, and again, it might be that the support comes from the community. So it might be that maybe the child needs to socialize a bit more, like you might refer them to come into us, or it might be something, you know, that's so easily solved by just maybe the parent or the family not realizing that there is a service that they can access that will kind of ease the problem for them. Or it could, you know, it could be counseling, or it could be just getting the young person maybe access to a one-to-one youth worker, something like that. So it can be something that's easily fixable if they have the access to it.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of my role as well, is to be able to know what is out there and to be able to signpost parents to look at, you could go there, or we can refer you there, or this is available. So I think that's of core importance, that you do look for the help and support for your family.
And I suppose then it would be good to bring in your role there now, Janice, to say you're the Child and Family Support Network Coordinator. So that's why you have access to all these people, because you bring us all together, don't you?
Yeah. So in County Monaghan, we have 5 primary care network areas as such. They're the 5 main towns: Carton Cross, Clonus, Castleblaney, Monaghan and Ballybay. And in those towns, we bring together networks of people that engage with children and families. So you're looking at your local creches, your secondary schools, your primary schools, your youth services, your resilient support worker services, your counselling services, your family resource centres. So there's such a great body of support in Monaghan at the moment. So part of my role is to bring together those people, to say, look, this is what I do, this is what I do, so that your local school will have more knowledge of what is available if maybe they are concerned about your young person, or they feel they need a little bit of help. Or maybe if you're a parent, you go to Melissa and say, Melissa, this is what we're facing at the moment in our family. Is there anything you know of? And Melissa might know, oh yeah, there's that person on the Child and Family Support Network. I know that I can maybe speak to them, or even you can contact me directly and say, oh Janice, what do you think? What's out there? So that I have a really good knowledge of what is available and out there. And there's also another thing that we have, is the Children and Youth Services Committee. So Children and Young People Services Committee, and they have a website, www.cavanmonaghanservices.ie, which lists a number of different services that are available under different issues, such as, you know, drug misuse, under counselling, under family support. So that's also a really good resource that we've sort of been building to look at what is available for children and families in the area.
And then as part of that, there's been a great initiative of a publication called WOW.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's every month, isn't it, Janice?
Yeah, it's every month.
Every month, you kind of get an email out with all of the services, up-to-date information about courses, services, programs that are on, workshops, all related to children and family. And what I'll actually do is, after today's session, I'm going to put it up on our Facebook page, just to give an example of it, that what's on this month. And you can subscribe to getting the email every month as well. But it's on the website as well, though, is it?
That's right. I'm not sure if it's on the website. I'm not 100% now. Colette might be looking at this and going, Janice, you should know that.
I think it's on the, go on.
Yeah, I know on the WOW, at the end of WOW, there's details of how to subscribe. So you would, you know, email Colette and she will put you on the mailing list for it. But it's really good. And you can just flick through it and look, okay, well, that's sort of, you know, that's something that I might, you know, access. And it's a really good resource for parents. And it's generally under the Children Young or CYPSC, Monaghan CYPSC Facebook page.
Yeah.
So even if you like that, every month Colette updates that. So that gives you a whole body of information of what supports are available for children and families in County Monaghan. So it's really good.
Yeah, and once you
see it, Colette, if you're watching.
Yeah, and once you see it, you are kind of going, wow, there is so much stuff going on. It's kind of sometimes it's overwhelming, that the amount of information that's on it. But as a parent, if you're looking for something, you'll be able to pick it out and say, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Absolutely. And the reason we published WOW, which stands for What's On Where, was because both people that work with children and families and parents are saying to us, we never knew that existed. We didn't know that was there. And that was part of the reason I was like, okay, well, we need to do something to be able to share the great amount of supports that are available for children and families in County Monaghan. So yeah, like Monaghan CYPSC Facebook page, and that'll be updated every month. And Melissa, if you update it after this, that would be super.
Yeah, I'll put a few things in the comments afterwards, and you can give me some posters and stuff to put it in as well. Yeah, which is perfect.
Great.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to highlight was around Childline. So Childline's been around for a long, long time, but Childline is more than just a telephone call now.
Yeah.
So you can, the children can, when they go onto the website, they can talk live to support workers. So Janice, you're involved in this and you do shifts on Childline. So could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, Childline has been operating for a lot of years on the phones, as you say, Melissa. So 1800 666 666, and that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But in addition to that, over the past couple of years, we've sort of been moving with the times as such. And first of all, we had a dedicated tech support service, which is 50101. But also over the past couple of years and over COVID, it was just brilliant for young people to be able to access this www.childline.ie, where you can go online live to chat. And as you say, I have been taking chats myself, and it's been really good to see how many young people have actually engaged with Childline just to chat about different things that are going on for them. You don't have to have anything particular going on for you. Some people just text to chat or, you know, go online to chat about, just have their anxiety around COVID was one big thing. And their anxiety being going back to school, maybe sort of relationship difficulties that they're having. And also the Childline website has a range of information for young people about lots of different things. So it's definitely worth actually just log on and say hello, just to see what it's like, to test it out yourself, and just see what that's like. So it's been a really good support, I would say, for young people, especially over COVID.
Yeah, and it's, yeah, like you're saying, it's worth going in and just kind of exploring the website. And like that, you know, the workers don't mind if a young person just comes on and says hello, because at least then you've tried and you know what it's like, that when you do actually maybe need it, it's not so daunting.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the phone line.
Yeah, same with the phone line, and the same with text as well. You know, you can literally chat about anything. You don't have to have anything specifically wrong. But like that, just check it out and see. And then, as you say, Melissa, whenever there is something maybe that you do need to chat with somebody about, and that you feel okay, well, they weren't too bad when I did text them before. They're quite normal. And it's really an empowering service. So it really empowers the young, it listens, but empowers the young person to actually think for themselves and to sort of help come up with solutions themselves as well.
Empowerment. Yeah.
And just on that, for parents, the ISPCC also have a dedicated support line, 9 to 1 each day. So there's lots of different things on the ispcc.ie website, and that dedicated number for each day, uploaded each day, just if you actually just need to talk to someone about anything. So similar to Parent Line, it's kind of like maybe you're anxious about your young people going back to school, and your own feelings around that. So, or if your child's being bullied, maybe just someone to talk to and get a little bit of advice and support on as well. So that can be accessed through ispcc.ie
as well. So yeah, like there's so much, there's just so much out there. It's just getting the word out like we are today, which is great.
Exactly. Yeah.
I suppose then, yeah, just if a young person, if a parent felt a young person was struggling in some way, maybe it's with anxiety, maybe it's mental health, you know, where should they go? Like we're saying, there's so many things, but locally, what would be available to them, like if they're feeling like a young person is struggling?
Yeah, I suppose there's two different strands to that, Melissa. You know, the ISPCC have dedicated resilience support workers that work individually with young people, maybe who are struggling to manage their anger, and they're maybe struggling with their emotions, with their feelings. Maybe there's been parental separation, maybe there's been a bereavement in the family, and they're just struggling. Maybe they're a little bit anxious about going back to school after COVID, or maybe socially they're just finding it really tough. So there are resilience support workers in County Monaghan that cover the whole county. Now they have been operating online, but they have excellent online facilities to be able to engage with young people, and hopefully come back to face now over the next couple of weeks. So there's a different range of options of how to engage with that support worker. But the parents can make the referrals themselves. I'll also give you that information of a couple of numbers of some of the support workers that they can ring, Melissa, and you can post that up. Parents can make that, professionals, yourself, Melissa, teachers, anyone can make the referral on behalf of the family. But we always need the family consent, because it doesn't work for them to have that, and we need them to be able to want to engage in the support service. On the other strand of that, if you're really concerned about your young person, maybe they're self-harming, or they're displaying just really, really deep sort of thoughts and feelings and emotions around their mental health, it definitely would be worth a visit to your GP to see maybe, do they need maybe more specialist support services, such as child and adolescent mental health. And your GP will be able to assess whether they maybe need that, or they'd maybe benefit from the more low-level support through the Resilient Support Worker Programme through the community.
Yeah, and it's very important to say, you know, about the GP, that they're, you know, they're the staple that's there, that you should access it and check out, you know, how what their assessment of the young person is. You know, sometimes when you're so deep into it as the parent, it's hard to assess, you know, where the young person is at. But
there is help out there, you know, when any young person struggling themselves. And we have this in Childline sometimes where young people say, I don't actually know how to say it to my parent or carer or close family member that, you know, I'm self-harming or I'm struggling. And sometimes we just say, well, what if you say, how would it feel if you said, I'm just struggling in some areas of my life. You maybe don't have to go into detail, and that's something that maybe you could talk to a counselling or support worker about, and just say, I think I need to get some help. You know, so I think it's important to keep the lines of communication open and to get the help and support, because it is out there.
Exactly. And it's, I suppose as well, to, you know, if a young person is saying that to you, to take them really seriously and at face value, because sometimes I do hear of parents dismissing with hormones. And it's very dismissive then, because they can be, young people really can be struggling. So taking them at face value to say, okay, you know, you are telling me that you're struggling, so I have to listen to what's been said.
And it takes a lot for a young person and
say that,
you know, that's, I remember as a teenager myself to be able to say that would, you know, that's difficult. So
And before we go, because our time is up, I just, something that I forgot to say earlier on, that with all of these services, we all can refer ourselves. You know, we don't have to wait for the doctor or for the teacher or whoever it is as the professional to ask for these helps. So we can always, you know, put our hand on the phone now and say, you know, I'm the person that's going to take this action for whoever it is in the family or the community. So it doesn't have to be a professional just for you to ring up and say, I have a concern here and I'm wondering what help is out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Melissa, you know, if you were happy, if they wanted even to message into you, and you could then pass on details, you know, as well, because you have that at hand as well. So, you know, to feel free to do that and to look for the support for your family and your young person.
Okay. That's it. Thanks very much, Janice.
Thank you.
And there was just loads and loads of information there, which is great. And it's really encouraging actually to feel like there is so much support out there for our families. So thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you very much, Melissa.
All right. Okay, thanks everybody, and I'll see you next week.